Well, venomfangxs has come out of the woodworms again, and he has come up with another video trying to prove he's God for some reason. Here it is, I'll let him explain.
Life. Life is full of tough decisions. Now, I've got this very bright light in my face, so I need to decide if I'm going to go with the classic Agent Smiths, or I'm going to go with the Neos.
Looking good!
Now, another decision I had to make today was what are the top 3 most common or the absolute best arguments that atheists use. Argument number 3. The problem of divine hiddenness.
Ah, right, so, divine hiddenness, that's really good. That's really, really good. Except it isn't. It is the lack of evidence rather than hiddenness. Hiddenness implies that there is something there to hide, and not just nothing there at all. Here is an example of that particular straw man argument. I can't find my keys, officer. And because I can't find my keys can't exist. And therefore I wasn't driving. And even I, as an atheist, know that this is not a really good argument. So what is your answer to this straw man?
Argument number 3. The problem of divine hiddenness. This question is sometimes phrased like this: where is God? Why can't I see him? Why don't I have some form of sensory perception of God? When you phrase the question like that, the answer becomes readily apparent. Man only has 5 senses, some argue 6, but the point is our senses are limited to the material realm. Now God, creating the material realm, would have to be, by definition, outside of or transcend the material realm, and so expecting a sensory perception of God defies the very nature of what God is.
See, here is the problem. For any actual God to have any effect on the stuff inside the universe, there would have to be some sort of conduit between the bit that is the universe and the bit that is outside it. It's hard to explain. Let me try some sort of analogy, some sort of tortured analogy. I know. Let's say that the universe is a box. And let's say that we are inside the box. Let's make it more specific. Let's say that Kent Hovind is in a box that we can call solitary confinement for 30 days. And let's say God, in other words, the prison warden, gives him food every single day. But it just doesn't magically appear inside solitary confinement. There is a little mail slot where the food tray is pushed into his solitary confinement box, and he can eat from the little food tray. Now, in our universe, there is no scientifically ascertained link between what is in this universe and what is not in this universe. And we've got all sorts of equipment to show us everything that's going on, not just our five senses, but all of our technology, stuff that we can detect, neutrinos and gravity waves and invisible sources of light and sound and radio waves and all of that sort of thing, and we can't see any links at all. And we can see stuff like protons and neutrons and Higgs bosons and stuff. I mean, we can discover whole heaps of massive amounts of stuff, and we just haven't seen any link. And that link would have to be like ubiquitous throughout everything if God was going to be omnipotent and omnipresent and omnibenevolent. It's not just going to be, it's over there, like behind that tree or something. So that was the first one taken care of. What was the second atheist argument?
Argument number 2. The problem of religious pluralism. This question is often phrased like this. How do I know which religion is right? Why are there so many religions? This is typically a question asked out of confusion, and not to be insulting, but out of ignorance.
The argument from plurality. I'm familiar with that. I can't choose because there's so many to choose from. Well, that's like kind of lame, actually. What I would say is that any omnipotent, omnipresent, and omnibenevolent God would not even allow any other, like, religions, because if it was true, then all of the signs, everything on the planet would point back to that particular religion, and none of the other religions would make sense. And none of the religions make sense. So, something else is true that isn't religion. Therefore, I win. Now, what's your argument?
You see, with things like Mormonism or Islam or Hinduism or Buddhism, typically what you have is one person who claims to receive a revelation from an angel or a deity or something, and that's it. Just one person at one time. So Joseph Smith with the Book of Mormon, or the Quran with Muhammad. And so what you have here is one instance at one point in time of a so-called revelation from a deity. However, this is totally different from the God of the Bible. You see, the God of the Bible is totally different. He revealed himself to the first man, Adam and Eve, and then revealed himself over and over and over again throughout human history, and each time would be documented, and this compilation of revelations were all put into a single book, which we call the Bible. And so the Bible is not actually a single book, it is a compilation of books of all the times that God has revealed himself throughout human history. And there is nothing like this in any other religion. The Bible spans a 4,000-year period of time, whereas the Book of Mormon or the Quran span less than one human lifetime.
Ah, right, yes, I can use the same argument to prove that Doctor Who is the greatest of all time. I mean, look, what you've got is, you've got 50 years, hundreds of different writers, hundreds of different actors, all saying the same story going throughout the series, except for Torchwood and Sarah Jane Adventures and K9 and Company, but they're not canon anyway, so don't worry about those. So what's your last one, which is the number one top atheist argument that you are going to shoot down? Yes, the argument from evil. If God exists, why is there evil? Okay. At least you're not strawmanning this.
So, the question is this: why doesn't God stop evil? Why does God allow evil? If God is good, why doesn't he stop it? The atheist also has a problem of evil. The atheist will say they don't believe evil exists, or they don't believe there's any objective standards. So people flying planes into building, or drowning, or any number of terrible things that ISIS is doing, and all this sort of stuff. The atheist doesn't really have an objective way to say that this is evil. They might say it's not beneficial to human survival, or they may say it hurts people, and therefore, subjectively speaking, it causes pain, and that hurts, and it's wrong to hurt people because you don't want to be hurt. What you want to do when you're answering this question is first point out that in order for something to be evil, there has to be an absolute standard by which to decipher what is good and what is evil in an absolute objective manner.
Objective morality. Objective morality. Because there's objective morality, then God exists. Except no. there is no objective morality? Didn't you get the message from your own Bible? I mean, even Jesus said that what you do to the least of your brothers, that you do unto me. And do unto others as you would do unto yourself. All else is commentary. That's what's in your own Bible. And besides, if there was an objective morality, not a subjective morality, then everybody would think all the same things are really, really moral. For example, the ancient Romans really liked all sorts of sexual deviancy that would actually get most modern people put into prison several times over, and not like the luxury prisons for rich people either. The nasty prisons where you actually do some of the same things that the ancient Romans found very, very moral. Actually, don't look up ancient Roman sex practices on the internet, because you will be put into one of those sex offenders registries for looking up stuff that's kind of illegal these days. I mean, even these days, not everything is considered with the same amount of morality. I mean, you know, I might think that it's incredibly immoral to eat other people, but some tribes in Papua New Guinea think that it's perfectly moral. In fact, it's a highest duty and honour to eat your grandmother's brains. And, you know, I mean, even in your own Bible, there's stuff that I would think was immoral, like, you know, going into another nation and stealing their women as sex slaves. And that would be, in my opinion, immoral, kind of. I wouldn't do it. No, I wouldn't. So that was the top 3 atheist arguments as defended by me and strawmanned by venomfangxs. I hope you had a really good time, and I don't have a cool sign-off. Here you can, you know, subscribe to my channel or something. I'm going.